read stuff like that and you get by the hour, that it starts costing, anytime you go over, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Gets a lot of money involved with it, and that's all I'm wondering. As you
I
know,
think they base that 5,000 on kind of the average, what they get in different counties or whatever. That's kind of where it comes in. You know,
because these deer ones, they get with 6.
yeah.
He went to 6 years, 6,000. And if he was tried at 5, he'd still be in good shape. But I've just kind of curious, well, if anybody had asked about that.
Who keeps track of that? Does Liz keep track of the hours per?
Oh, yeah, and the operators keep track of it.
So we could formulate a spreadsheet to look at that by grade or by region.
It's an hour meters on every machine and keeps track of the hours
Right.
besides the operator.
Right.
Of course,
And
the other thing about that is all our meters are run by the clock now instead of by the engine.
So
Yeah.
idle time, you mean, sitting idle time?
Based on the
Yes,
RPM.
they are not run by
Against
the
the
engine
hours.
anymore, they're run by the clock.
Keys on.
They're electronic, and they went with the keys left on, it makes hours. If you're idling, it's making the same hours as if you're running wide open, which makes a difference on the engine, right, Jim?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it makes a lot of difference, but that is one thing that even them guys ought to think about, you know, that,
Over noon hour,
yeah,
but I would.
Depending on the
They
weather.
based on the RPM.
He said he doesn't think so.
anything that we use ag-wise, it's all done with, just off the clock in ag. All of it.
Was, maybe they've changed all of a sudden, but they were based on RPM. It had to be running so many RPM before it would register
Through
through
there.
Dodge.
Through there, maybe industrial's different, ag isn't.
No,
Ag
tractors,
is all
all
by
ag.
the hour.
Yeah, oh, I know tractor, yeah, and farming, yeah, they're all, when you turn the switch on, they start running.
I think that should be something we discuss at our department meeting. Ask the operators if they've looked at that. Because that would be important, our time, especially on this program.
I would like to say something if I could about Alexis brought up a good point on them 140s. That would be something to think about because, in my opinion, those 140s are 3 times the machine those new cat graders are, even John Deere, because you don't have any of those electronics. Aren't they, because they're big horse.
Yeah, a lot more electronics, I will concur with that.
I mean, if there was
It's
considerable
find that
amount of,
almost anything you buy now,
yeah, where they're all,
whether it's a tractor, a car, or whatever.
those are like the last of the good ones.
You know, I can't remember, it's been quite a while since we did talk about a rebuild, but they said that you might get, what they say, 1 cycle out of it before the parts become obsolete. That's one reason why in the smaller equipment, they don't necessarily want to do it, because the parts do become obsolete quicker. You know, when you're running a big D11 dozer and big scrapers and big compactors, that's their main thing that they do the rebuild on. Then you tend to have the parts that stay there. They don't change the machines a whole lot because they are designed to go through that rebuild process. So, I'm not saying it can't be done, but when we looked at it several years ago, it wasn't necessarily cost effective for down the road. The price today looked nice, but in the future, it was gonna cost you.
Was that wasn't that a 140 that we waited about 3 months for a spindle for? Finally got one out of South Africa or something.
120, yeah.
120.
Yeah, it had to come from overseas, and then when they got it shipped in, it was so rusty and stuff, they sent it back and had to get reordered. And that's what I run into with most of the older stuff is parts availability. You just don't have used stuff around that's any good that we can go to a junkyard and it's not available anymore. We've got a lot of stuff that we depend on used stuff and hunt all over the United States to try to find something.
I'm pretty sure that spindle came from South Africa, didn't it?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
way down Cape Horn or something like that. I think's what it was
I was
called.
in Brazil for a while.
Yeah.
No, it's
Do you
something
have
to look
a
into.
working projects list? Because that would be something I would be interested in seeing. You know, we're talking about this bridge, this OS 117, and so I'm wondering, you know, from the management
say,
Who's
I
been
was
keeping
down in
track of
my
that,
book here,
Bob?
like I say, here all the time, different projects we gotta work on.
Oh, I understand that.
And I try to, we're off in one area, I try to get, maybe they're not the most important, but I try to get what we can done in that area instead of doing one deal there and then moving over here, Westfall, and then over to Bourne, and then back, and but I try to do several projects while I'm in that area if I can, so we don't just, so I don't really have a set pattern, it kinda depends on what's there and weather conditions and all that stuff.
But every time I've inquired about you or called for you, you're usually out on site. Like, you know, from
Well,
area to area wherever things are going on, right?
Every time we have a project, I have to put in one call, and I have to go out
And you're
and
going
mark
and-
the area where it
Right.
is and stuff, and measure how far it is this way and this way, to turn in the one call, so.
Right.
It keeps me pretty busy running around and then going back and checking on how they're getting along with it, and where we need to go, try to plan where we need to go next, if they're about through, all this stuff.
So I guess I'm just wondering about the communication then, if you're keeping track of the project list and prioritizing it and being on site, Michael, are you working out of the office then, at the shop? Is that primarily where
I
you're?
would say 90% of the time I'm in the office, yes.
Okay,
That's why we went to an assistant 7, 8 years ago, because
It's,
the office stuff got to be all the computer stuff and the bridge stuff and all that stuff, and they just said one person couldn't cover the ground.
So you ever at the rules and regulations anymore, they're trying to keep up with all of that.
Anything else, guys? David's here. Probably need to stay, Michael, so we can, probably wants to know about the burn ban, don't you, David?
That was one of my,
One of yours.
Come on up.
Come up here.
I'm more comfortable back there.
It's all right.
No, I'm teasing.
We can't hear and see you very well.
I can speak up.
Oh, this didn't look like weather to me.
Well, I certainly want the inquiries.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am. On the first sheet of my packet, I had gone out and gotten 4 different bids from 4 different companies, and S&S came back with the lowest bid for tires on that incident management trailer at $110.70 for the 2 tires. But again, mounted balance, disposal fee, and new valve stems on that trailer. And just again, you see the other businesses, what their quotes were also.
I guess I would question why 3 of them are at $160 and one of them's at $110.
And I went back and verified that with him also, and he pulled up the information and showed it to me on the computer. It's a 6-ply tire, as is all the bids. And that just amazed me that he could get it at that price. But again, too, since I've had the position, I haven't pulled that trailer anywhere. So I don't know when the last time, Rodney utilized that trailer. I don't know if that ever went to when he was down in southeast Kansas, when he had gone down there. I don't know if he took that trailer also.
No, I mean, it used to go in and out, so,
Right.
as far as how often, I couldn't tell you.
Right.
So,
So I'm seeking permission to go ahead and purchase the tires from S&S.
yes, I move that you purchase the tires from S&S Auto Body at $110.70 as quoted.
I would second it.
And I moved the second, purchase tires, S&S, $110.70. Questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
The second sheet of my packet is reference the civic rating mass notification system that we have within the county. The third sheet shows the overall totality of the bill. The second sheet that I do have has it broken down with all the cities within the county utilize the tool. Both school districts currently have it, as does LCH. The sheriff's office also has access to it, as well as the health department. The sheriff's office and the health department, there is no fee because they're a county entity, but all the communities in the county, as well as the school districts, have a fee that they pay for us. The initial cost was 60 cents, because again, with the setup fee, the initial cost was $37.95, I think, last year. And then the reoccurring cost now would be $29.95. And been told, when we purchased the program, any county under the populace of under 10,000, the cost will never go up over $29.95. And that was quoted by Civic Plus, the parent company to Civic Ready. And again, the totality of what the cities and the school districts and LCH pay is $951.21. So that would offset the the $29.95, and then the rest of that would come out of my budget. And I'm just asking for permission to renew that contract with Civic Ready. And again, the cities and the schools utilize it more than the cities do, but the cities have, each city has utilized it a little bit.
I don't have a problem with it.
So Don, do we need a motion for this deal, or is this something that it's just a reoccurring?
I wouldn't know why. I would have thought it just brought the bill down. I would have thought it would have just brought the bill down first.
Okay, well, I think he just, but the bill, but once we entered into this, we're kinda, that's just a
Yeah,
yearly
until
thing,
we
isn't
ended
it?
it, yeah.
Okay. Any questions about Civic Ready? Okay, David, your next thing.
And you are on the notification list, and I did go back in and check that, and you should be getting notifications upon tornadoes and severe thunderstorms. So, and we haven't had any recently, but I can do a test if that would please you.
I'll come and talk to you, yeah.
Okay, okay. And then the fourth and the fifth pages of my packet of paperwork are about Getz Card. It's a government emergency telecommunications service. Cards that the federal government gives out to agencies give the counties personal priority access and prioritized processing in the local and long-distance segments of the landline networks, greatly increasing the probability of call completion. Getz is intended to be used in an emergency or crisis situation when the network is congested and the probability of completing a normal call is reduced. And again, there is no fee for those. I currently have one, as does a first responder up in the Barnard area, and I was wanting to find out if you guys would like me to communicate with the sheriff's office and with the clerk's office. I know Russell County has them for each of those agencies in their county. And again, that's if I shouldn't say if the landlines go down, but in a disaster situation, call volume increases. The Getz Card will give you access to override those other calls because you have this government card, and the probability of your call getting through or completed is a lot higher. And again, there is no cost with this. It's just something that there is no cost when it's not being utilized. But if an incident does happen and you have to utilize the card, there is a cost, but I'm not sure what that cost is.
I think you could visit with the department heads,
Okay,
and, I mean, it's nice to be aware of it, but I think that's up to the department.
okay.
That's my opinion. I don't know what you guys wanna vote on it, but.
I have no problem.
And that's all I have. Any
Weather.
burn down? Do we still want to continue with that?
Weather.
They're expecting showers tomorrow evening, and again, this coming weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Have not seen anything about wind yet, but,
Temperatures are down considerably. Or you, Michael, you have problems, take it off for a week until we see what's gonna happen in your area. I don't think anything's gonna burn very much the last few days.
Yeah, the weather I've seen, we're supposed to get quite a bit of rain Wednesday, so stuff should start greening.
back in here Friday too. End of the month.
Yeah, I guess my only concern is that if there's some CRP people out there that need to get to burning, that this afternoon might be a good, because there's no wind. It's damp, if it, it will not burn fast, I guess. I would move that we lift the burn ban.
I'll second.
Move and second, lift the burn ban immediately. Any questions?
If it doesn't rain, we may
Yeah,
revisit
we
it
will.
Friday.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Would you please inform the sheriff's office?
I will. And
Please
would
make
you
that
like me
known.
You need to do a resolution, Don, or?
You'll have to do a
Okay,
resolution.
yeah, we'll have to do a resolution.
And would you like me to come back Friday also just to revisit that, or no?
You stop by.
Yeah,
Okay.
stop in, you don't need to, that's different on the agenda, I don't think. We're just doing end of the month, and we're gonna do an employee meeting at the highway department.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you.
You bet. I think we're good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I just want to hang around for a while.
Yeah.
Thank you all, you have a great day.
Don, you have that, we'll sign that when we come back, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else before we recess?
Well, since it's not quite noon yet, I have something I'd like
Okay.
to address
Yep.
with you guys. I was gonna, if I had time earlier.
Yep.
I do need to notate in the minutes that you guys are gonna change your meeting beginning, May 1st. But I feel like our meetings are chaos. I apologize for that phrase, but I would like to maybe look at changing up how we do our meetings. You guys are the ones that set the agenda, and in the past, this is how it's always been. But I would propose that we take the first half an hour just to have public comment, and we limit public comment to 3 minutes. And then during the meeting, public comment doesn't speak. They can come back the following meeting unless you guys have time. Now when I visited a little bit with Saline County, I know that they revamped their policy a little bit, but they're the ones that set the 3 minutes. Of course, they have a bigger population than we have, maybe 5 minutes. I don't know, but basically my understanding is they set a timer, and when the timer goes off, that person is asked to be quiet and they sit down. That doesn't mean that when somebody is on the agenda that you can't talk to them, or, ask for the public's input or whatever you want to do. But I just think that it's a little out of control, and it's hard for me to do minutes because I feel like we're bouncing back and forth. So that's why I just do the general statement that they asked and try to hit the subjects that people are asking about. Because I would have 10 pages worth of minutes if I listed anything that everybody put in. So that would just be an idea, doesn't have to partake. You guys are the ones that set your own agenda. You had wanted old business and new business. We could, I guess, do that afterwards, or I don't know exactly what it is that you're wanting by new business, because to me, anybody that's on the agenda is basically kind of new business.
The problem with
But-
the current setup, like a doctor's office, is if you come in at 10:15, you get that time slot. So if a decision isn't made, or if you have something to revisit, then it's up to you to come back, and that could be months from now. And so I've noticed that we just indefinitely table items. And to me, that's not efficient. We need to, our list is just growing instead of checking things off. So by doing old business, you make the decision, you vote if it was tabled from before. That way we can tell the person who's coming, well, then you need to come in next week during old business, and we'll get it, figured out if we don't want to, excuse me, if we don't want to make a decision at that time. That's my thought behind old business and new business.
Okay.
The public comment, I agree with you, we can have a segmented time, but I would think that it should be at the end, not at the beginning, because if they sit through the meeting, if they want to come and sit through the meeting, if they don't have a chance to say anything at the end of the day, they listened to everything that we touched on and then didn't get to comment on it, rather than coming in and doing it first thing,
That I don't really care about. The only thing would be is the adjourning early. We would need to have set hours. And I don't know if this 10 to 2, we normally say we adjourn for lunch, but we haven't been adjourning for lunch. We've been staying, and then we've been adjourning early. I don't know if we just change that and you meet up and say we're adjourning at a certain time. The 10 to 2 kind of come out because the 8 to 12 is normally 4 hours, but a lot of times what will happen is people will leave early. So I don't, if there isn't anything on the agenda, then you're sitting here for 4 hours.
What is
So
the-
I don't know.
What's the reason for starting at 10 versus 8, just in general?
Usually a matter of getting here.
Take care of it in the morning, it's still dark.
Dark in the morning. Difficult.
Dawn, I have a question. Would it be easier if you recorded and then transcribed the minutes? Would that be easier for you to help, so that you could get everything that needed, that's pertinent to your minutes? And that way you wouldn't have to be trying to keep track of everything, and you could go back and refer to it to make your notes more organized and be easier for you?
I could, but this is part of the problem with that. That becomes an open record, and it's subject to, it's subject to having to retain retention. Now, Saline County did tell me that Don Merriman, however, Jamie's not doing it because she was advised not to, the new clerk. But Don Merriman was recording, and up until the time that he recorded over, those records were open records. But we don't have the means or the ability to record and retain digital format. So I have always been advised never to record.
Well, I've got one of those little external hard drives for my computer that I put all my extra stuff on that I want to retain and stuff, like kind of for a backup. Would that be a system that we could probably use that would?
But then it becomes subject to an open
Yeah,
record.
yeah.
And then at that certain time, if anybody comes in and asks, when did they talk about this, then I'm having to listen through all of the minutes to try to find. That's why they have always discouraged having open records as
But
tapes.
if you have the minutes written, you could refer to the minutes and then go back to that. Because I'd like to listen to some of the meetings that I'm not here the whole time, because, I've got livestock to take care of, this is why I've been late some, and I've had other meetings and stuff. But I'd like to listen to the meetings and just to hear what's going on, instead of just reading the notes, because, some of the notes, you get a lot of that information, but you don't get the discussion there. And I think the public would like to be able to access some of that stuff. I don't think, if it's a matter of public record, it could be actually put online and people could look at it that way.
Who has encouraged you to not record?
Our
Of course it
attorneys, K-Camp attorneys.
But a public meeting, I think that it would benefit the county in a way that you could go back and refer to that if there was ever a dispute.
Now, number one, you're addressing me as though this is my
No,
decision.
I know,
It's not
I'm
mine.
not. Well, I'm
I
just-
only take the minutes.
But,
That's not my decision.
I've been in many other different, organizations to where we did keep those records as a matter of reference. And it was, we found a way to record them and kept them. When we did cassettes, it was a
I'm gonna interrupt
problem.
you, maybe we could discuss that at a different time, if you wanna specifically address it,
Yeah,
to get on the agenda.
and then,
or something like
a
that,
question
but you do
too.
have to be back at 1 o'clock,
Okay,
so.
why don't we use Robert Rules of Order in the meeting more than what we do?
We've been discussing that, we've touched on it the last couple meetings, I think that's where we're getting maybe with this open public session.
Okay. Well, I was just trying to help you out, Dawn, if you recorded it to where you could transcribe.
It's 12 o'clock. We'll recess till 1.
Dawn, I would like to revisit this, so I think, you have a good suggestion there.
No, in the rules of Oklahoma, it actually states that the public has no right to speak to the public at this meeting. Look at your coma deal. I went through it.
Good.
And it says, anybody that comes is just